You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning. Call in now.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. See, if that's not the realest shit in the world.
I, Roberta McCoy, given faith and stand in unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000,
I'm gonna work on the other 800.
well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
We are energy. We are materializing things with our mind. This density called the third dimension is being created in what could equate to nanoseconds. It's so fast that the brain cannot even conceive of the conception of manifestation. But the minute we look at something, we're creating it. The minute we think of something, we're creating it. We are infinite creators. And we go on and on forever. And if we would create good and wonderful things, be productive in what we think about, what we feel, what we know, and look at things with compassion and love instead of fears and doubts and ideas of profit margins, we could have the realization that we have never left heaven, that it's always been here. We just lost sight of it.
It's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder. House.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. One's in the chat if y'all can hear me all right, because y'all know how I get. Hey Hood, the sound ain't working. Something wrong with the sound, Hood. Fix your mic, Hood. Throw some ones in the chat if you can hear me okay as we get into this conversation. Titled New Moon in Virgo, Sidereal Astrology. These are some intentions and rituals to help you. Of course, I'm going to look at this mythologically, going to look at this metaphysically, and give people a holistic breakdown of what this new moon in Virgo in the sidereal spectrum of things is looking like. Of course, Western would call it either a new moon in Libra or even a new moon in Scorpio, I've been seeing. But when we look at the astrology of it all, the astronomy of it all, you will see that the new moon is actually in Virgo. Don't be mad at the messenger. I don't align the stars to be where I specifically want them to be, nor am I using tropical astrology, which is a distortion and simplification of what's happening in the stars. So, with that being said, the overview, I guess the theme of this particular new moon in Virgo is the mythology of Cain and Abel, but also the deep esoteric roots of that mythology. It did not start in the Bible, right? It did not, it's not about a brother harming another brother. That would make sense. Like, I got 2 kids, 2 sons, and them niggas can't get along. Ain't no mythology associated with that. Them Negroes is just crazy, right? So, like I said earlier, we're going to be discussing some things, man. And for those watching this post live, it will be timestamped. So if you want to get straight to the astrology, you'll be able to do that. For those of y'all who watching this on the live with me, y'all going to have to get all of this information. So the thing that we want to actually fixate and focus on is the fixed star Izar, H to the Izar, V to the N. That joke was horrible. But anyways, the sun is going to be conjunct the moon and it's going to be conjunct the fixed star Izar, but it's also going to be conjunct the fixed star Spica. So in fixed star astrology, what I've been doing with these fixed stars as of late, I will tune in and tap into the fixed star. Listen, y'all. I don't be knowing shit about these fixed stars. I literally be having to learn. So that's just the reality of the situation. And what has happened though, these fixed stars have been a mode of channeling. Like I'm able to tune in and tap into certain degrees within these fixed stars that I normally wouldn't be able to tap into. But I trust my research. I trust my ability to learn new information. And so, with that being said, I hope y'all are going to be able to pick up on the channel that I got from the Black Sun, right? The leader of the black-headed people, that boy Cain, right? And Cain and Abel, shout out to No Limit, Master P and them, but we talking about something much more esoteric. So if you never fully grasp the story of Cain and Abel, today just might be your lucky day. We breaking it down, and we're going to correlate it into the stars. Because the question that you're gonna have is, okay, why are you talking about mythology and it's supposed to be astrology? What I'm going to show in this video is that it's going to be weird for y'all to talk about mythology and religion and God without talking about astrology, right? Because all of these particular stories, all of these particular names will change with the faces, with the races, with the places, but the stars is going to stay the same. All right. So capitalizing off this energy is going to be Pluto and Capricorn transformation in the material world, a slow moving transformation. So, if you ever feel like Kirk Franklin and them and you want to start singing hymns, I'm perfectly fine with that. It's over now. It's over now. I feel that I can make it. The storm is over now. If you want to get into those vibes, feel free, open it up, start belting out tunes and hymns as we're going through this live presentation. Perfectly fine with that. Jupiter is going to be opposed Pluto in the mother sign of Cancer, in that first deacon of love. So we're hitting all of the points today. We're getting through all of the mythology, all of the metaphysics in order to, personally, I hope that we can get clear on some of these things because I've been racking my brain for the past 72 hours on this particular information. Please, I hope it's not more confusing. I hope you don't leave this video more confused than when you came here, whatever that means. Probably confusing you already, but with all of that being said, this is what the T-square will look like in a traditional chart. We have the sun and the moon conjunct the first decan of Libra. The first decan of Libra is also Virgo. Why? Because Virgo is 52 degrees wide. Therefore, when you look at a traditional chart, it does not incorporate this unless you go to Mastering the Zodiac. But in a traditional chart, 99% of the charts, you're going to see the new moon in Libra. But as astronomers, as observers, as scientists, one could easily deduce that the beginning part of Libra is also the ending part of Virgo, which you can see, you can bear witness to this if you just simply look at an astronomy chart, and you can see that the sun and the moon is in the Virgo constellation, conjunct the fixed sign Izar, which is a part of the constellation Bootsy Collins, things of that nature. So let's get into the metaphysics of the fixed star Boots. And we're going to layer this and layer this and layer this. Then we're going to put our icing on it. Then we're going to put our candles, light our candles, and eat the cake, anime, eat the cake. So first off, we're dealing with the just to reiterate, because sometimes people get like, why is we talking about this? I don't understand why we talking about this. Just to iterate. The sun and the moon is conjunct. When the sun and the moon is conjunct, that is called a new moon. Let's think of a new moon as a snapshot. Wherever these two planets come into exact conjunction, we want to start to examine the fixed stars that the sun and the moon are conjunct, because the fixed stars is where you get all the mojo from. That's where you get all of the juice. So if somebody said, I want you to go to the house and get some juice, would you go to the front door and say, can I get some juice? Or would you go to the kitchen, right, and go to the refrigerator and go to the first shelf where the Sunny D is and say, everybody loves Sunny D, and get you some Sunny D? So what I do as an astrologer, I'm telling you the row for which the juice is at, right? Of course, the whole totality of astrology, the new moon is in Libra. Let me Google what Libra means. Balance. You got to balance things out. And it sound good and it feel good to the ears. But what does it actually mean? Let's also reiterate and fixate on the fact that a new moon is how you set the tone for these next 28 days. And I'm going to start the video off like this, but I'm going to also end the video off like this. If you do not set your intentions, somebody else will set those intentions for you. And 10 times out of 10, you are not going to like another person's intention. So what do you intend for yourself over these next 28 days? What are you responsible for as a spiritual being? And if you can figure that out, it's time to particularly lock in, because this shit is not a game. Right? So when you look at Boots, the constellation of Boots, that figure is a mythological story that is meant to inspire the human to do the right thing and not do the wrong thing. It is common sense, what I'm about to say. But since sense ain't common, you might have never even thought about it. So I would hope that when listening to this presentation, you will have a suspension of belief in reference to what you are actually doing and not doing, right? Because you could be listening to that Meek Mill, blasting it, they're going to love me for my ambition. But at a certain point, maybe they getting tired of you for your ambition and they want you to, figure something out instead of being ambitious. But I'm moving way far ahead of myself like I tend to do. That's why I do these lives with these slideshows, because I know me. If the road is going straight and it's like a little narrow path with a sign that say do not enter, my ass is going to go down that narrow path. I don't know. It's just something in the wiring in my brain blood barrier that's just not right. It's not right and exact. So let's get into the story of Icarus. Icarus is the constellation Boots, just to be clear. In order to understand what Boots is, you need to understand what Icarus is. But then once you figure that out, it should what happened with me, I started reading about Icarus and I said, man, this sounds a lot like Cain and Abel. Man, this sounds a lot like Enki and Enlil. What is all of this talking about? This sounds a lot like Jesus. Okay? And of course, this mythology predates Jesus. But we act like Jesus is some new hot shit that we never seen before. But in reality, Jesus is just some old shit that got remixed by Puff Daddy. Take that. It's the remix. Anyways, Icarus was imprisoned by King Minos, a master craftsman Daedalus fashioned wings of feathers and wax for himself and his son Icarus. So it's two people. It's King Daedalus and it's his son Icarus. Okay, it's a father and a son. The father warns the son not to fly too low nor to fly too high, because if you fly too low, the sea is going to dampen your wings. And if you got wet wings, you can't fly. Unless you go to Wingstop, I like my wings extra wet. It's like, no, I ain't ate wings in the last 10 years. What the hell is a human being doing eating a chicken? Ain't no reason humans should be eating chickens. You ain't never looked at a chicken and said, that shit look scrumptious to eat. Or if you fly to the sun, it's going to melt the wax. So, like any good son, Icarus said, Dad, you don't know what the hell you talking about. I'm about to fly to the sun because Puff Daddy said, can't nobody hold me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving, Dad. So he said, you know what? I'm going to fly to the sun. You know what happened? The sun melted his ass. And now he ain't have no wings. And then he plunged into the sea, keyword sea, and he drowned. This is a tragic tale of the origin of the idiom flying too close to the sun, symbolizing ambition that overreaches caution. So where does ambition show up in your chart? It's going to show up in this particular house. For me, it's in my first house, right? Where I will show up so much for other people. Is there anybody like this? One's in the chat, if you're cool with showing up for everybody perfectly, you want to show up for them, you want to do a good job, you want to be the best girlfriend, you want to be the best boyfriend, you want to be the husband, wife, teacher, student, you want to show up for them, and motherfuckers looking at you like, boy, you doing too much. Why you always showing up? You said that we was going on the date at 8 and your ass showed up at 7:50. This is giving me red flags. This is giving me the ick. See, when you willing to show up at a high level, that's when you know that this shit is fucked up. Because this is where I'm ambitious at. Ambition is a problem. Okay, we gonna get into it. And ambition, it could be in your 7th house. You want to be ambitious in your relationships. You ambitious in your relationships, but is your partner ambitious in a relationship too? Is you the one overcompensating, not even understanding why? Not even setting up no boundaries, no tests, no ways to figure out how people is going to show up for you? Oh, you in the right place. So, and another key point I want to highlight on how I'm able to decode shit based upon just the mythology. King Minos in other mythologies is named Zeus. Zeus is another name for Jupiter. And Zeus is the one who saves Icarus, right? He mythologizes Icarus in the constellation Boots. Why is this significant to today? Because Jupiter is in Cancer. Zeus is in Cancer, meaning Zeus is saving Icarus, the sun and the moon, from the drowning and resurrecting him, Pluto and Capricorn, to its new destiny. I'm talking to everybody, but everybody not going to feel me when I say you are royalty, and this is the time for which we are waking up those ancient genetics. So as I'm reading the story of Icarus, the father, the son, something in my mind, because another part of it is where these inventions, and in the Bible, the person that was inventing the most shit, that was causing the most trouble, was this nigga Cain. But Cain was a son of Adam and Eve. It was their first. Cain is Adam and Eve's first child. That means that Cain is Adam's first son. And at a certain point, Adam could not do nothing with Cain because guess what? Cain wasn't Adam's son. Cain was a son of, for lack of better words, the devil or the demiurge. So he had a human vessel because it was Eve's son, but he had a spirit that was demonic. And not demonic in that he wanted to hurt people and kill people, because this demonic entity will go over your head. Well, hood, I ain't evil. I don't want to kill people. But listen, you selfish as fuck. Let's put it out there. You selfish and you only care about yourself. You possessed with the idea of what you need and what you have and what you got, and therefore you exist in this world. It's only you. It's not 8 billion people. It's just you. So the mark of Cain, once again, before you get out the house, you're going to be thinking, I need to go to college. I need to get a job. I need to get an apartment. I need to get a house. I need to save my money. I need to invest. I need to do all of these things for me so I could be so successful, so I can build a world. And don't let you get with a group of niggas. Now that you got with a group of people, that's Tubal-Cain. That's Cain's son. So you have Cain that was a son. Now he is a father. He has a son named Tubal-Cain. And how does this play off in real life? They done made all the guns. They done made the AK-47s. They done made the hydrogen bombs, the atomic bombs, the machetes. They done figured out every way to cause harm to another human being. But that wasn't good enough for this particular set of people. This particular set of, I need to protect myself. I need to hurt people. This is a particular way of thinking that possesses people. And it, well, let's make some guns then, nigga. Let's make some weapons. Now, the weapon of choice is technology. They don't need to institute guns and rocket ships and bombs no more. They've already killed the youth through the mode of technology. So the mark of Cain, right? The mark of Cain is possessed by the demiurge. It is creative, but it is selfish and concerned with power that builds worlds, often forgetting its divine source. So Lord forbid you get a house. Lord forbid you get a new car. It's only the people that have gotten this shit that understand what I'm saying, where it's nothing more emptier. It's nothing more of a void of being so successful, being so in tune with something, and then feeling like, damn, this ain't what I thought it was. That is the mark of Cain. That is a spirit possession, thinking that if I get this, I'm going to be happy. Why is that so destructive? Why is that so demonic? Because God's love exists within your being at every second of the day, regardless if you have it or you don't have it. Regardless if you fat, short, tall, skinny, black, white. God's love is ever present. To imagine under any circumstance that you are not the son of the Most High, daughter of the Most High, and that you need to have these particular things is a recent evolution that the church, the Bible, which is created, because once we understand the mark of Cain and Tubal-Cain and Baphomet and Yahweh, you understand the purpose of the Bible is to give people a blueprint on how to be selfish, on how to think about themselves. Because once again, when God, quote unquote, blesses you, he only blesses you with good things. He don't bless you through trials. He don't bless you through tribulations. He don't bless you through trauma, or so you think. He don't bless you through adaptation or nothing like that. It is constant selfishness that is moving and grooving people. And one of the tools to keep you in your own little box is the tool of technology. But I'll get to that. So as I said, when we was talking about Meek Mill, they gonna love me for my ambition, we have to begin to understand what ambition is from an etymological point of view. What is ambition but an inordinate desire for honor and preferment? And the key word in that is inordinate. What does inordinate mean? It means unusually or disproportionately large or excessive. So once again, so you say, Hood, I shouldn't want to wash my ass? I can't buy no clothes? I can't want to be successful? Hood, you doing a video right now, so you don't want no views for the video? You don't want no likes? No, please like the video, share the video. But an inordinate desire, an excessively large desire. Ambition is, I don't care about shit else besides what I want. And this is possession. It was a bright idea. Like that job didn't even have a now hiring sign. You went up there. Can I talk to the manager, Pete, please? Yeah, my name is Shaniqua Johnson, and I don't think that y'all hiring. I don't know if y'all hiring, but here's my resume. Here's my cover letter. I was just wondering if I could get an interview. That's all I was wanting. Well, sure. We'll give you an interview. Come back on Wednesday at 10. You done talked to these people for 2 hours, came back for a second interview, talked to the board members. You've been working at this job for 2 months and you fucking can't stand it. I hate this damn job. These motherfuckers is racist. Niggas done bought wedding dresses, wedding planners, invited their friends and family, spent thousands of dollars on this shit just to be at court talking about, nigga, I don't, you got to give me half. What's the point of ambition if you don't even know what you ambitious for? You don't even know how you going to get, you don't even know how you going to feel once you get it. How could you know? Because you have been focused on a particular desire from other people. See, it's a desire for honor or preferment. So the things that's going with Tyler, the Creator, the things that's going with Kanye West, where your fans, they give you millions of dollars, but say some shit that they don't like, do some shit that they don't do. Now they ain't even supporting you no more. They're not buying your CD. They're not listening to your music. They're not watching your videos. Nigga, it's artists that was hot in 2002. Chingy was the nigga in 2002. When was the last time you heard a Chingy song? NBA players, NFL players, they be ambitious to get into the NFL. They work their whole lives to have a 3-year career. They done made $1.5 million. They didn't get a second contract. They back working at Walmart as a supervisor, 6'7", talking about you need any help, sir? Can I help you find something? You're going to see so many examples of how ambition, without being identified, will have you in a situation where you didn't even realize you was getting yourself in it because it was so excessively large, your view of what you quote unquote wanted, that you don't even realize that when you get there, it's going to be not what you expected. You should already know it. Right? Ambition, striving for favor, courting flattery, striving for favor. Listen, what do we know about God and God's favor? Do you have to strive for God's favor? Or is God's favor inherent within you? You only have to recognize it within yourself. You only have to become God. Why would you have to strive to become what you already are? Courting flattery. Right? You're so amazing. You're so great. You're so popular. None of this is going to sustain you long term. And once again, where is ambition at in your chart? Where is Libra at in your chart? Because we all have a certain ways for which we want people to kiss our ass in a way that once they do kiss our ass, we're going to be like, ooh, why is your lips so wet? Or, ooh, why is your lips so dry? They scratching my ass. You thought you want them to kiss your ass until you realize they got skinny lips. And the kiss ain't what you thought it was going to be. So where are we at in reference to ambition? Because ambition is something that's being fed down the throats of people every single day. But once again, they're not looking at the etymology of the word. They're only looking at what they're going to get out of it, but honestly don't even understand what they're going to get out of it. Does it mean give up, not do nothing? No, but a desire for honor is not as bad as an inordinate desire for honor, an excessively large desire for honor or preferment. Just something that you need to check within yourself versus the work that you're trying to do. So when we look at the spirit or the mark of Cain, where is this level of ambition? It is a primal selfishness. Tubal-Cain is Cain's son. So in this particular metaphor, Tubal-Cain would be Icarus and Cain would be Daedalus. And Tubal-Cain embodies the diffusion of Cain's primal selfishness, spreading personal ambition to encompass family, community, or even an entire nation. This is the legacy of innovation. So once again, when you start talking about certain things that are tied into technology, that are tied into capitalism, industry, that shit is not to help you. That shit is to overwork you. So I guarantee you, if you working at a job, one's in the chat, if you're doing the job of two people, but you getting paid for one person or 1.5, you're doing more work right now than you was doing in 2018. And you're not getting paid more for the more work that you're doing. One's in the chat if that's a true statement, if that's an accurate statement. Because you used to just do the flatbeds. Now you're doing the flatbeds and the full-size trucks. You used to just mop and sweep. Now you mopping, sweeping, and doing the front register. You used to just do the front register. Now you're doing the front register and you're cleaning out the back storage cabinet. If this is a true statement, if this is a real statement, then congratulate innovation. See, innovation does not affect the worker. Nobody is trying to make it easy on you. They're trying to make more money and they're trying to oppress you more. Because the more that I oppress you, the more you'll come back and work for me. The more you'll think, man, I need this job. And if I have you think that you need this job, that's the perfect mentality that I need you to have. Because now that you're working, I don't have to work. So I start a business. Me and my wife start a business. I put a now hiring sign in front of my business. Guess what? If nobody comes into this door and want to work for me, guess what? Me and my wife got to work. We got to do all of this shit for ourselves. Now, if I hire somebody, I'm not going to cut you into the profits. I'm going to give you an hourly wage or a salary because I know how much I'm making and I know how much I can afford to give you where it doesn't affect my bottom line. Therefore, I'm effectively utilizing the system in reference to innovation. When you talk about a cell phone, when you talk about a laptop, it's great to have your cell phone. You enjoy having your cell phone. But guess what? Motherfuckers have died times 1,000 for you to have a fucking be scrolling on TikTok every damn day. The workers in the Congo, the children that work in the Congo, it is pure torture. You wouldn't want to wish it on your worst enemy. But for the sake of innovation, we in the West do not give a fuck. We dropping $1,500 on the iPhone, on the phone that probably cost them $100 to make at most. We giving these people incredibly large profit margins to create the dichotomy of the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. You do not have an option other than working with other people. If you think that you're doing this shit by yourself, you're like swimming upstream during a tidal wave. At a certain point, you need a boat and you need an ark, right? Which Tubal-Cain is the antithesis to Noah. Right? God is trying to tell you something, and it don't have nothing to do with the more we go through this shit. You got to begin to look at your job. You got to begin to look at your career. Like, what the fuck is this? How do I'm so successful at this job and ain't nobody here to rub my feet? I don't have nobody here to laugh with or to talk to. If you can say, well, I did good at my job, I did good in my career, but I'm just horrible with these niggas. I'm horrible about these women. You got to thank the legacy of innovation. And trust me, it is a spirit to whereas your mom and your dad made sure that you got a degree, made sure that you got an education, but they did not make sure you was going to be successful in your personal relationships. This is a spirit. This is something that we have to worry about. This is a weapon, right? And so Tubal-Cain's innovation created tools/weapons of both creation and destruction, symbolizing progress and power. But with all of the progress in the world, where has that gotten us? It's gotten us more and deeper into an illusionary state to where we're looking at these jobs, we're looking at our houses and our cars, and somehow, some way, it have some value to us. And within that house, we ain't got nobody to laugh with, nobody to talk to, and we don't have nobody to talk to, meaning we don't have nobody to talk to about it. You ain't about to go to your job and tell the people, man, I'm lonely as hell. I don't got nobody to talk to. I'm single. That's not the worst part. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to manifest a partner. I have no fucking clue. I know I can fill out a job application. I know I can, take care of myself. I can survive. Listen, that is the spirit of Cain. That is the result of your ambition. You felt like when you got that job, niggas was about to come, ooh, baby, sexy ass, working ass girl. Let me make you my baby mama because you got a job. And if that ever was the case, imagine the type of dude that's going to fuck with you because you got a job. That got to be the worst type of nigga in the whole planet. He don't got no job and he like you for having a job. Phew, that sounds horrible. So once again, we have to understand brain rot. In the year 2024, brain rot was the word of the year. In the year 2024, brain rot was the word of the year. And this is the result of Tubal-Cain. Brain rot describes the cognitive decline and mental exhaustion from excessive exposure to low quality online content, especially on social media. And this is taken from a study that was exploring the pillars and psychological factors, digital behaviors, and cognitive impact. First off, let's get into it one by one. Because talking to niggas, you definitely talking to somebody that's suffering from brain rot, whether you know it or not. Because all they doing is being on social media. All they doing is absorbing content that's not even real, not even true, and it's affecting you at the root level. And if you're giving your kids phones, if you're giving your kids iPads, don't tell me you love them and you care about them. It was a Twitter post. This shit was so crazy, I had to retweet it. Because what the hell do you mean? The Twitter post was, children don't need iPads. Ice from the Joe Button podcast said, children absolutely need iPads. What in the brain rot? Children do not absolutely need iPads, right? And then I retweeted, studies show excessive electronic use in children can negatively impact their development by potentially leading to reduced attention spans, impaired executive function, emotional desensitization. The way that me and you was raised, if you was a millennial, you got to try to raise your kids the exact same way, the best that you can, right? Because if you a Gen Z and you having children, you don't think nothing is wrong with giving your kid an iPod or a phone because that's what you was given, because parents didn't know. We was just trying to get you to shut the fuck up, right? You crying and whining and shit. The only thing that's going to keep you quiet is the damn iPad. Here you go, nigga. Dora the Explorer. Shut up. I'm trying to do something. Now we have gotten to the point where we have to then realize that that point is over. If the kid is crying, don't give them a cell phone so they can stop crying. Figure out different modalities. I go to Family Dollar religiously. Markers, paper, pencils, draw, write, color. Fuck the phone. Because the phone is a weapon of Tubal-Cain. Once again, you're going to fly too high to the sun. You're going to be on the phone all day, every day. Thinking you're doing something, that shit frying your brain cells. It ain't nothing in a grown-ass human being on Instagram, TikTok, all day, problem. Because it was a point in time where you had apps, you could do research, you could study. With this AI, everything is just easy. It's just coming to you, and it ain't doing nothing but ruining you. Research has identified correlations between high screen time and lower scores on language, thinking tests, and even physical changes in the brain's cortex. Once again, this is not me saying it. Please do your due diligence. You love your child. You tell your child, I love you every day. I love you, little Ray Ray. I love you, little TT. And then you let them get on the iPad before they go to sleep. You giving them phones at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. They going straight to the pornography. Not my kidhood. Not my kidhood. Little TT would never do that. You ain't got no blocks on the motherfucker. And even if you did have blocks, these kids well aware of the blocks, getting around the blocks, going straight to the bullshit. Got it to a point where they can hear your motherfucking footsteps. Once you move out the chair, they just switching it to Dora the Explorer. You walking in the room, it look like they've been watching Dora the Explorer. They all relaxed and shit. These kids are smart. Way too smart to be given electronic devices. We as a society have to understand the weapon of choice for the elites is no longer the AK-47. It's the iPad. It's the Samsung Galaxy Tab. Okay? That is the way they're going to fuck your kids up way more than anything else. While the full impact is still being studied, we still don't know. Listen, the way for which you cannot talk to these kids, you can't reason with these kids, you can't rationalize with these kids. If you love your kids and you see them on the technological devices, you got to start worrying. How is this motherfucker going to be when he's 18, 19, 20, grown in the world? You take his damn iPhone away, this motherfucker having a full-blown tantrum. You think what he going to be like when he get a girlfriend? You trusting this nigga to have girlfriends and shit? This nigga having a full-blown tantrums and shit? Like, no. It's the hard part right here. This is the part where motherfuckers just gotta just buckle down. Because what is the healing process to this? We don't know. Because it's like we have been so impacted by electronics and technology and by Tubal-Cain that we've been impacted so hard and so rough that we haven't fully been able to see the wounds. And if we haven't been able to see the wounds, we haven't correctively had the healing modalities. So in these next 10 years, it's going to be electronic recovery centers where you got to take your kid to help them do something to improve and heal their brain rot. A key concern is that fast-paced, algorithm-driven content can reduce the ability for deep thinking and critical analysis. And to make it in this world, you have to have it, right? So when you giving them the technology, because once again, it's one thing to talk about Tubal-Cain and Cain and all these mythological characters as human beings in the sky. That's not going to help you. If I can give you the exact thing to which these entities are showing up in your everyday life, unfortunately, it's not going to be a white man in a robe with a sickle. Fortunately, it's going to be that iPad that you just brought for your kid on Christmas. That's the only thing that they fucking with. And then they on social media apps that's not even like their brain cannot handle it. And since their brain cannot handle it, the consistent use, the video games, whatever you got your kid absorbing online, I don't care if it's educational, is leading to brain rot. So emotional and behavioral causes emotional and this is the study. I'm just going to highlight what the study said. Brain rot causes emotional desensitization, negative self-concept, behaviors like doom scrolling and zombie scrolling, which are linked to anxiety and depression. You love your kids though. Digital mechanisms, fueled by the overuse of digital platforms, dopamine-driven feedback loops, making content consumption highly addictive. And so when my kids go to their mom's house, she letting them use the phone, all the electronic devices, whatever. They come to my house, they don't even ask. At first, it was uncomfortable. They didn't know what they was going to do, but they kids. So the answer is no. right? Whatever you choose to do, temper tantrum, scream, yell, whatever, the answer's still going to be no, right? Prevention strategies. I would say no screen time, but if you feel like it's not a bad thing, control the screen time, less than an hour, 30 minutes, things like that. Curate digital content because you're giving your kid a raw phone, they're going straight to the porn. They're going straight to it. Most kids experience porn 8, 9, 10 years old, and it's right there on the phone. They friends talking about it, their cousins talking about it, people at school talking about it, and they curious. Okay. One of the taking your kids outside. What we did this summer, we was at the beach, we was at the park, we was just doing shit. So when the kids is at the beach, they not thinking about using the damn they're not thinking about using the phone. Right? So once again, we're going to break down the constellation of Boots and the fixed star Izar. So the constellation of Boots is Icarus, but another name for Icarus could be Enlil. Another name for Enlil could be Cain. And this is a particular bloodline, a bloodline of evil and demonic spirits that possesses a certain degree of people. It's black people who ain't shit. It's white people who ain't shit. It's Chinese people who ain't shit. It's Russian people who ain't shit. It's Italian people who ain't shit. It's all types of people who are not shit. And you would see those people as to be infected with the serpent seed or the mark of Cain. They'll never do right. They not in your life to do nothing right. So therefore, in order to understand that spirit within yourself into other people, this is a good energy to really reflect upon. So let's explore the deeper meaning behind the mythological and biblical figures, which is going to reveal a profound journey of self discovery. And it's also going to give us an application in this particular world. So, as I stated earlier, Icarus and Cain, right? Which is the overreaching ambition. It represents an individual who is going to overreach, that is driven by the primal ego, is the part of you that's not going to question. It is your desire for self assertion. This is the diffusion of Cain, the mark of Cain, where the ego learns to see itself in others, which is a problem because now we get into Tubal-Cain and Daedalus, where it's like I'm gonna get a whole bunch of people to participate in this tomfoolery. So Icarus and Cain would be like Steve Jobs. I just want to start a company, right? Tubal and Cain and Daedalus is the Apple Corporation. I have a company that enslaves Congolese people by the thousands. We do not treat the Congolese people fairly for what they do on a day-to-day basis so we can scroll on Instagram, so we can be on Chat GPT. We are not, we want to free Palestine, but we don't want to free Congo. The reason why we don't free Congo is because we love our Galaxy Tab. We love our new technological device. And do you think, would you rather have a cell phone or would you rather have peace in the Congo? Little temperature check. Comment on this video, right? Put it in the chat. Would you rather have a cell phone or would you rather have peace in the Congo? Answer that for me. Because I don't give a fuck about this, none of this shit. The fact that people are suffering to the degree that they're suffering in the Congo, like, I mean, I got to take care of business, but I understand if this shit was to end tomorrow, it ends tomorrow. I make money through technology, but at the same time, it's like, damn, this shit is fucked up. Just a quick overview. Cell phones are connected to dangerous working conditions in the Democratic Republic of Congo through the mining of cobalt, a key mineral used in rechargeable batteries. Most of the world's cobalt comes from the DRC, where both large scale industrial and small scale artisanal mining exists. Artisanal miners who dig by hand in often unregulated conditions face severe exploitation and health risks. What I'm saying is, you wouldn't wish this on your worst enemy. So, once again, when we're trying to understand Icarus and Cain, Tubal-Cain and Daedalus, we have to understand what does the future look like when we're not exploiting people. Because the things that we are comfortable about in our lives, in a day-to-day life, a lot of it comes from exploiting people. And the more we do our due diligence, the more we study, the more we understand, this whole system is based upon exploitation. And people have already done the knowledge. And what the knowledge does is give you a knowledge base. But when niggas start rioting, when people start taking over your neighborhoods, you gonna think that these people is pure evil. You gonna think that it came out of nowhere, but you didn't even recognize how many people are being oppressed so you can live in this so-called fairy tale fantasy land called America. So the fixed star Izar, H to the Izar, V to the Izzo, right, is symbolized by a belt. So it's highlighted right here, Izar. This is the girdle. This is the belt. This is what combines the upper and the lower. Izar is symbolized by Mars and Venus, the Hermit card, and the Hebrew letter Teth. So the Hermit is the one who embodies and withdraws for introspection, and one has to refine their motives and belong to their true self rather than to the illusions of the external world. Another way of saying the hermit is if you don't stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. If you don't stand for something, or I don't know, you know how it goes. The overall premise is you will fall for anything. What do you stand for? So this new moon requires a level of introspection that you have never seen before because you don't know what you're supposed to be doing because the external world has played a trick on you ever since you was born. Your mom said the best thing for you to do is get a college degree. And here you are, 45 years old, they taking $200 out of your paycheck. And you not even working in the field that you got a college degree from. So as I stated earlier, Izar is the girdle or the belt. It is holding up the top and the bottom, right? It represents the starlight of integration where deep self-knowledge transforms into selfish service that moves beyond ambition. It moves beyond possession. See, Cain and Tubal-Cain is all about possession. My house, my car, my this, my that. People dying with that shit every day. And they not taking it with them. People got it's thousands of houses where somebody have died and now the house is just empty. Cars, person died, brand new car, right? Just sitting in somebody's driveway, sitting in somebody's garages. Possession in reference to the earth is not spiritual. Because in reference to spiritual, you're not taking none of the possessions with you. And the time and energy you wasted to get these possessions, which is you got these possessions through ambition, you don't even get to take them with you to a place that you're going. The fact that people can work an 8-hour day with no slack, no slay, and then have a hard time meditating is the fact that you haven't had any form of reflection upon yourself. So let's look at this from an astrological perspective even further. Let me just so I just want to make it a little bit more crystal clear. So I'm gonna do Virgo and Boots constellation. It's probably a better one. One second. Try to show you guys something. I want to give a clear visual. All right, guys. The new moon is going to be in Virgo, conjunct the fixed star Izar. And so Boots, the herdsman, Cain, right? Cain, which Virgo, which would be the Virgin Mary. But Boots, the herdsman, could also be Jesus, and Virgo could be Mary. But in another term, this could be Eve. Virgo could be Eve, and this top entity would be Cain or Adam, depending on how you look at it. But let's just break it down from this perspective. The new Eve is a devotional title for Mary, the mother of Jesus. So Mary is the new Eve. So Mary is not a real person. Mary is a constellation called Virgo or the Virgin. The Virgin Mary is not a human, and Jesus, which died and resurrected. So Icarus died and resurrected as well. The way that Icarus gets resurrected was through the modality of the constellation called Boots. Since the 2nd century, numerous Eastern and Western church fathers have expressed this doctrinal idea of the new Eve as an analogy to the biblical concept of the new Adam in Jesus. So Jesus is Adam, Mary is Eve, and these are the same things and the same people. It's not different people. The reason why it's not different people in different times is because we all can bear witness to the astronomy. And the astronomy have a heavier influence on this planet than the planet itself. Because when you walk around the planet, there is no way to activate yourself for real. You can go into a church. Imagine you go into a church, right? You trying to get saved from the Lord, and they do some shit like this. Hold on.
I, Roberta McCoy, given faith and stand in unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Imagine you go to church and that's what a nigga tell you. Right? Like, that ain't gonna save you. Right? The church is playing in your face, because when we understand Mary, when we understand the Virgin, we are looking at a constellation. That's the only way that we understand this stuff. When we look at Jesus, we're looking at a constellation. That's the only way we understand this stuff. We understand the astronomy because the earth, like the ruler and the creator of the earth, is an aborted feces. God can't teach you nothing. God of this earth only wants you to drop that goddamn $1,200, $2,000, nigga. Straight up pimp shit. You know what I'm saying? You a motherfucking hoe for that nigga. You know what I'm saying? You might as well go into the church and call that nigga Zaddy. I got your money, Zaddy. Put it in my pocket. Type shit. The belief that Mary has a unique and necessary participation in the economy of salvation is expressed in the doctrine, particularly her faith in Annunciation of the Archangel Gabriel, which facilitates the incarnation of Jesus Christ and human redemption. These are celestial events. And for generations, for Satan's little season, we have been absent of these particular events, which have created the ambiance that God is not real. But in my mind, all of this shit was just completely made up. That is too much information for it to all be made up. The facts is we don't see what they see or knew what they knew. And when we're talking about the astronomy of it, nobody on the internet, nobody on the fucking planet is trying to give you the mythology of the particular constellations. Because the moment you start breaking down the mythology, it sounds a lot like religion. But instead of keeping your head to the sky like Earth, Wind, and Fire, they got you pointed to a goddamn pastor, and the pastor was saying, I'm the representation of God. Now give me your money. Break bread or fake dead. Just to reiterate, because people are going to say, Hood, Mary don't got nothing to do with the planets. The constellation Virgo and the Virgin Mary are linked through religious symbolism and astrology, with some interpretations seeing the constellation as an ancient symbol that was later adopted as a representation of Mary. The connection is strengthened by the fact that Mary is the Virgin Mother, and the constellation of Virgo means maiden in Latin, meaning that before we was able to come up with these books and these stories about these deities and all of this, we were able to observe the stars. We're able to observe the stars. So once again, in our testimony and stories and related to the constellational processions, we are able to then say, all right, this is the shit that we need to focus on. This is the shit that is illuminating to us. But we have lost that art because, once again, people thinking that people can't even tell you where the new moon is at. People going to tell you that the new moon is in Libra. And then when you get into the science of Libra, Libra is not even a real constellation. Libra is a Roman invention. The whole thing of Libra is Scorpio. So the scales were actually the claws. The claws of Scorpio refer to the stars that now make up the constellation of Libra. So I deal with Libra at a certain degree, but at a certain degree I don't, because I understand the origin of the story. Once again, you come on top of God's people, pause, that was nasty. That was crazy. Double pause on that. But man, I gotta pause myself. But yeah, you deal with God's people and then you create this court, you create this government, you create these sanctions, you create these limits, and then you go into mythologize them with Libra. Nah. So as I stated in reference to the fixed star Izar, which is the fixed star that is conjunct with the new moon, H to the Izar, V to the Izol, right? which is a belt which unifies the evil and the good. Because what they will say about Cain is that it is not entirely evil. But I don't get that. I don't resonate with something not being entirely evil, right? Like, she not all the way bad. She just steal your money and fuck other niggas when you're not looking. But she cook a mean pot roast. Like, no. At a certain point when you're dealing with people, you gotta begin to expect the perfection for which God have promised you. Because when you're dealing with things in reference to this fixed star, in reference to the Hebrew letter tit, where you getting a necessary evil, some good, you in a world of trouble. So the Hebrew letter tet is formed by two other letters, Vau, representing the human will, and Zayin, representing divine authority and spiritual discipline. So the human will do any motherfucking thing if you give them enough space, time, and opportunity. This is why you do not trust people. I don't care under no circumstances. Mom, dad, brother, sister, wife, husband. Because the moment you trust them, they fuck you over. Ain't no recovery after that. You got to actually look at motherfuckers like human will. And then you have to incorporate the energy of Zayin, the divine authority and spiritual discipline. So you got to look at motherfuckers to see if they're willing to meditate, if they're willing to start over, if they're willing to go within themselves and see what God is trying to tell you something. God's trying to tell you something. Are you listening? You're not listening? Then you are going to be activating and operating out of human will, out of ambition. And the problem with motherfuckers, right? The Bible says it perfectly. I know you're neither cold nor hot. And I wish you were one or the other, right? You either good or being evil. Cause you ever flipped out on your boyfriend or your husband and he don't treat you the same after you done flipped out? Or you try to be nice afterwards after you done flipped out? And he be like, man, go on with that shit. Man, go on with that shit, man. Nobody trying to deal with that. And you like, what? I'm trying to be nice. You already improved yourself to be evil, so I'm expecting you to come. You slashed my tires last night, so you better just keep that same energy because that's how I view you. People not giving you the benefit of the doubt to be good and evil. You're going to have to choose a side and pick a side. And if you don't, and the problem with it is that people do not know how to be good. They don't know how can you be good and be ambitious. When you are ambitious, you are exalting the personal will. When you are ambitious, you are letting the ego lead you. And you don't give a fuck about the spirit. When you understand the goodness of the creator of the pleroma of the Sophia, then you submit to the divine presence within yourself. You pray for it to take over your whole entire life, that it possess you, that God leads you. I've only gotten to this place that I've got to because I've allowed God to show me. I would have not been on YouTube doing YouTube videos if it was up to me. I had a whole different view for myself outside of everything. Because when I was trying to do it my way, I was being evil. And I didn't realize I was being evil because I was a good person. I didn't want to hurt nobody, harm nobody. I didn't want to do nothing wrong to nobody, nothing. but God was not leading my life. I did not submit to the divine will. I thought that I had to figure something out. I thought that people was judging me and looking at me evil, so I had to keep working hard. And I'm not mad at it because it got me to where I I understand certain things. But my path would have been made a lot easier if I would just have submit to the divine will, which is going to lead to harmony and growth. So once again, you can't tell a person shit. You just have to observe them. Niggas will tell you every single day what they want to do, what they trying to do. Once in the chat, niggas got a plan every day. But what have God told you? Well, I hate meditating. I don't like meditating. I don't do that much because, I was watching a panic video saying that you don't got to really meditate. Fine. Good luck with that. So let's go back to the chart. Let's examine the chart and reiterate some of the things that's happening. So we have a new moon that is square Pluto in Capricorn, and Pluto is opposed Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter is in the first decan of Cancer, which represents love. It is the ultimate pool of love. It is the baptismal waters of noon. It is a fresh start. Have you ever got into a relationship with somebody and it made you forget about your ex? One's in the chat. You ever got some good love? Good love will make you say, you know what? The same motherfucker that you was crying over, you like, listen, I hope the best for you. And I see you and I see you. We'll probably meet on the other side. But, it's been nice knowing you. It's been real nice knowing you. But, yeah, it's not going to be, I'm moving on. I found somebody. His name is Jermaine, and he's holding me down. I love him. I met somebody. Her name is Charmaine, and she's holding me down. I love her. So love is the baptism. Love is the start over. And the modality of love in reference to Jupiter is that it is always available, meaning starting over, looping over, going through things in a different way. This is the most important part. If you don't have the modality of love in this particular world, it's going to be tough. Because once again, the first deacon of Libra is the deacon of peace. Two of Swords. And I want to ask y'all a question. I want to ask y'all a serious question. When you piss the fuck off, one's in the chat, it's hard to meditate when you piss the fuck off. When you stress the fuck out, when you worried about this, that, and the third, it's hard as fuck to meditate. One's in the chat. When everything is going cool and everything is copacetic, it's much easier to meditate. One's in the chat. Be sure to like the video if you have not liked the video already. It takes 3 seconds, and that's going to help this video in the channel out the most. If you enjoy the video, that means that somebody else could possibly enjoy the video. So please like the video, give them an opportunity to see this video in the algorithm and maybe click it and enjoy it at the same level as you would. So one would say, I want to meditate, but I'm pissed off, I'm stressed out, I'm mad. You ain't going to be able to meditate. So this picture looks like to me the saying of, See no evil, hear no evil. The phrase see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil originates from a Japanese proverb symbolized by three monkeys. It has two main interpretations. The original meaning is a principle of avoiding evil to maintain moral purity and inner peace, while the more common modern Western interpretations refers to willful ignorance or turning a blind eye to wrongdoing or negative situations. I would tie into the original meaning would be more pertaining to this particular image. In order to have inner peace, you cannot be reflecting on the past traumas and mishaps. What you mad about? What you hoping, you will have some injustice to. Because if you look at this particular card, you're going to see the Two of Swords. And behind it, you're going to see an ocean. And above it, you're going to see a crescent moon, representing this particular time that we are in. This is a new moon. Jupiter is in Cancer. That's the water. Pluto is in Capricorn. Those are the mountains. See the mountains in the background? And the reason I bring this all to your awareness is because this entire live is not my words. None of the things that I've brought forward has been from my invention, my genius. I'm bringing you shit that already exists, and I didn't align it in such a way. And I will go so far as to say, I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about when this shit, like when I started studying, I'm like, man, I don't know what the video gonna be about. I was just compiling data. And I said, all right, I need to organize it. I need this shit to make some type of sense because right now this shit ain't making no sense. And the closer I looked, I said, oh, this shit is perfectly aligned. This is very simple shit, right? So let's get into the astrology of it. So therefore, it could all make sense because I gave y'all the full mythological background. And honestly, that could lose people. But at the same time, people go to sermons, and the sermon ain't going to tell them it's a new moon. Ain't going to tell them it's a full moon. It's just going to say, give me $2,000. With that being said, Hood Mystic 38, if you do want to add to the collection plate, Marvin Wine is getting $2,000 about these motherfuckers to tell them that Jesus was a white man. I'm giving you the full deal breakdown of the reality. Niggas looking at me like I'm crazy. It's all good. It's all good. What the dude be saying? I think he be saying it's all good. You still good. If the new moon is square Jupiter in Cancer, oppose Pluto and Capricorn, you still good. Niggas who know what I'm talking about rolling right now, like this nigga hood crazy as hell. The astrological aspect brings together the expansive energy of Jupiter in Cancer, opposed Pluto in Capricorn, which introspective and initiating force of the Libra new moon creating a potent dynamic of emotional growth and challenge. So the challenge is identifying within yourself your own personal ambitions and how they hold you back, because your ambitions separate you from God's love. Ambitions say if I'm successful, then people like me. God's love is saying whether you're successful or not, I love you more than anybody could because I love you for your existence. To which you find God's love, it's easier to find your husband love. It's easier to find your wife love. Because you understand God loves you unconditionally, then a person loving you conditionally, you kind of see like you don't really love me. You don't love me as much as God loved me. You telling me I'm doing this, I'm doing that, right? And you using it as an excuse not to love me. So once again, it's hard to navigate relationships without God. Because even if there's so many people that have gotten a reading and it's just been them and a partner been somewhere playing the PS5. So in your mind, you thinking if you hearing the information and your partner, you gonna convey it to them. It don't work like that. Meaning if you're not receptive to the information, you're not going to receive it, no matter what the information is. So Jupiter in the first decan of Cancer represents an emotional depth, a longing, and just a vast pool of opportunity through the modality of love. It represents the great tide, the feeling of the ocean of the soul. The soul has so many opportunities to show you love. You just simply need to find it, and be guided by it. We're in this world, sad to say, we are guided by our ambitions. When the squared Libra new moon, we confront the consequences of emotional excesses, ambitions, like Icarus soaring too high and falling into the sea because he did not choose the middle path. So what does this mean symbolically? It means that the drowning of Icarus symbolized being consumed by our own unconscious desires. The overwhelming flood of emotion when the soul reaches beyond what it has spiritually prepared for. So is what people always say, I want a man, I want a woman. You get a man, you get a woman, you ain't doing shit, but sitting there watching Netflix. One's in the chat, you done got with somebody, and all they want to do is sit around and watch TV. Am I the only one that when I was dating, I was like just so turned off by motherfuckers that just was like, yeah, I'm just sitting here watching Netflix. What you doing? You want to come over? No, I'm not about to come over and watch Netflix with you. Yeah, I don't be doing too much. I just be sitting here watching TV. You mean to tell me we not going to study law? We not going to try to invest in no property? We not going to work on this business together? You ain't got no business ideas I can help you with? You try to do a Shopify store? Like we ain't going to do nothing? We going to sit here and watch Netflix? And there's nothing wrong with watching Netflix. I feel like everybody have their little guilty pleasures at the end of the day, but shit. The totality of your day is going to be us chilling, watching TV? No, I'll pass. You could be a good person. If you the type of lover that think a motherfucker is just going to sit around you and watch TV, you worse than the bitch that's going to cheat on me. At least the bitch that's cheating on me giving me some damn excitement. Your ass just boring. Is like, cut off your location or something. Have me search for you out the city, and then you like, oh, I was just over my mom's house sleeping. I ain't even know. My phone was on silent, baby. I wasn't even paying attention to it. I was sitting here watching it, like, excite me a little bit, Wear a thong. If we gonna watch TV in some lingerie, right? Do something. Don't just be acting like niggas supposed to just be at your crib, you in goddamn sweats, and we just sitting there watching a television show. This is not how we bonded. We is not growing our relationship like this. We are experiencing brain rot, my baby. But it's okay, right? If you find yourselves in, this is a space of self-reflection. This new moon square Jupiter in Cancer is a time for reflection. Reflection on the times that you fucked up, right? Because when you get into the space of where you fucked up at and what you're never going to do again, you're going to be on the right track. Because it's not saying that Libra in the scales, it's not saying that you're completely fucked up. It's saying in order to balance something, you need to get rid of some weight over here, so the weight that's already on the right side, no pun intended, will balance it out. It's too much weight in the ambition. It's too much weight in just wanting shit to happen magically. It's too much weight in you being lazy. It's too much weight in you studying Western culture and society and trying to acquiesce to it and having subscribers and followers and views. There's too much weight into that shit. There's no weight in connecting to God. And trust me, if you just let it go on this side, the weight that's already there, right? Your heart being as light as a feather is the resurrection power and energy. I've been in this spiritual journey for a very long time, and it's not been a trajectory up and up and up. Nigga, I've been up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. But when I'm down, I always know how to stand back up again. Because how do I stand? Because the power of God is within me. The ability of understanding the power of baptism, water fast, purification is the mode. I keep me a water bottle. I'm filling it up with water, and I'm going through 2, 3, 4 of these a day. I'm pissing all the fucking time. Every 10 minutes, I'm like, hey, I gotta stop and use the bathroom, y'all. So let's get into some intentions and rituals of the new moon. Today, tonight, well, Monday night, Tuesday night, Diwali, the Festival of Lights, which is commonly known as Diwali, is a vibrant 5-day festival symbolizing the triumph of light over darkness. This is why you got to have the candles lit over your altar. Get you some tea light candles before you go to sleep. Meditate and pray over lights over this full new moon cycle. Trust in the power of light. The light is within you. The divine spark is within you. That is the most powerful force. The ability to meditate and tune in. In these spaces and times, you are going to look like a motherfucking genius. Because people are like, man, how you do that? Because God is within you. This season is a season of renewal. This is going to be celebrated every autumnal or fall new moon. Diwali marks a profound renewal of hope, prosperity, and spiritual brightness. This is a resurrection. So you can utilize the ritual of lighting candles, lighting incense. I want to go, if I got time, I want to go to the Indian store and get me those like pink and white frillies. They look like in Hawaii, I forget what they call it, like them flowers, but it's the Indian version. Like, decorate. Niggas is doing all of this shit for Halloween, right? And then when you talk about a Diwali festival, whatever. Okay. You're going to dress like a slut for Halloween, though, and nobody going to say nothing about it. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. But anyways, the deity of Diwali is Lakshmi. So how do you honor Lakshmi? Clean your motherfucking space. Don't go into this new moon with a dirty living room. I mean, the house might not be spick and span, but you can pick up the trash off the motherfucking floor, put the clothes in garbage bags, and get ready to wash them in the morning. Like, get your shit together, big homie. Organize your shit. Get rid of shit. This is how you honor Lakshmi. Lakshmi do not mind blessing you, but she will not bless a dirty house in a dirty room in a dirty area. It's just not going to happen. So as I stated earlier, lighting countless lamps, candles, fireworks, giving people sweet foods, performing acts of charity, withdrawing $20 out the bank, give it to a homeless man on the corner, through home cleaning. I just said this. Going to Burlington Coat Factory, get you a new outfit, spend $10 on the outfit from there. You know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't going to tell you nothing because you wearing Burlington clothes, right? But it's all about celebrating and understanding the energy, visiting family, calling family. But it's like when you set the intention vibrationally, mentally, of positivity rather, that is the energy that will sustain you moving forward. If you're afraid, and you're not doing shit. You're not lighting no candles. You're not setting no intentions. You just fixate and focus on what the world is showing you right now. Tough. It's tough. It's a tough world when you do not incorporate the God within. And the messages that I've been delivering for years and years and years, they're gonna just become more and more and more true. Because as people go further and further and further to God, away from God, on this channel, we get closer and closer and closer to God. In every video, I'm letting you know that God is within you. Because ain't nobody else telling you that. They're telling you God is in if you invest in this money in crypto and you get 10x your return. They're telling you if you find a man, you found God. They're telling you if you got money, you got God. But, and I'm not saying them things is bad, but I'm saying if you don't have them, you still have God. And that is the core purpose, is to dispel darkness, restore warmth and happiness within you. Once again, when we get into the science of God within, it is an emotional feeling called enthusiasm, which is taken from the Greek word entheos, which simply means God is within you. So joy, enthusiasm, and happiness is a spiritual revelation. When you come to the conclusion that God is within you, you have no reason to be upset. You have no reason to be sad. When you do not have that overwhelming conclusion, then you allow it for all types of darkness to settle within your spirit. So throughout this new moon, the intention and ritual based upon the Hindu observation of this new moon is to symbolically call the divine presence, peace, auspiciousness, which is the general well-being, into every home. Not just your home, but into every home. Because if you're the only house that have goodness in it, the niggas will be knocking on your door very, very soon. So you can get the 7-day candles, or you can get the little tea light candles, or you can go to the Indian store in your neighborhood, type in Hindu Indian stores, and they sell the Diwali supplies. You can, you got a $50 budget, get you some frillies, some lights, some candles, and just tap into the energy. Play some damn Lakshmi mantras and say them shits. Because motherfuckers going to be complaining, man, that I only got $20. I want to support, but you know how my money funny, my change is strange, hood. My money is funny and my change is strange. So the Sabian symbol for this new moon is Libra at 4 degrees. The symbology associated with the Sabian symbol is around a campfire, a group of young people sit in spiritual communion. The Sabian symbol for Libra, 4 degrees, speaks to the profound experience of finding new inspiration and revelation through uniting with kindred spirits. The core message of this Sabian symbol is the power of gathering with those who share a common spiritual path, fostering deep connection and mutual growth, which I feel like that's what I do in these new moon videos. I'm just trying to talk to people who understand that God is within them, and they're trying to foster that deep connection, and they want to see this connection show up as growth in their lives on the everyday situation and circumstance. So the symbolic fire and shared warmth is the campfire that symbolizes common dedication and the shared warmth of collective intention, illuminating the dawn of new unified values. So within this particular intention, if you're a lonely person, it's just you're just trying to figure this out by yourself, I would say the intention would be to find your tribe, to remove the barriers that is stopping you from connecting with people, because you're not about to do none of this shit by yourself. Only thing you can do by yourself is transition out the body. In reference to life and living, you have to do that with other people. In the ways for which you are able to unify your union with your community, i.e., communion, the union of community. It emphasizes the need for gathering, not isolation. Inspiration flourishes when minds and hearts resonate together. Right? So, what is the revelation of Christ consciousness? Over these past couple of videos that I've been doing, I've been recognizing that when I speak purely through my soul and I'm giving people the full-fledged information and I'm not holding back, the algorithm is not holding back in reference to people who interested in what I got to say. So my responsibility is to show up for people. I'm not going to just be like, all right, the new moon is in Libra. Have fun, niggas. I've been researching this topic for 72 hours. I've been trying to get clear on this shit, not just for myself, because what I look like getting on this internet, not knowing what the fuck I'm talking about. Because I believe in fellowship, and part of fellowship is integrity. It's cool to have a bunch of people that's around you, but if motherfuckers ain't really down for the cause, that is not a community. That is not communion. That is some spirit of Cain type of shit. Mark of Cain type of shit. Where you can have 1 million fans turn into 1 million people that hate your ass and want to make your life a living hell, and it's all because you was listening to that Meek Mill and saying they want to hate me for my ambition, right? You damn right. So it's a difference between being yourself, reflecting, coming into your own understanding for who you are, and then connecting with other people based upon your truth versus you doing the thing that people expect you to do so people can be like, oh, you light skin. Oh, you got a fat booty. Oh, you got the baby hairs. You're doing everything we expect you to do. Congratulations. No. The fellowship as revelation is a catalyst for creativity, fellowship, and it embodies the principle. When 2 or more people are together in my name, I am there. And this is Christ consciousness. So I don't have a large group of followers or nothing. At the end of the day, for a lot of times, it's just me and my wife. And boy, oh boy, am I good with that. Because me and my wife, we move mountains together. You know, because I done had a lot of people that, you know, was around me all for their own self. For themselves, they were just trying to improve and enhance themselves. They didn't give a fuck about shit that I was talking about. You know, I'm talking this spiritual miracle shit. Don't nobody care. That's why when 2 or more gather in my name, I am there. And it's good to be selective. It's good to understand people who have peace in their heart, love for God within themselves, because that's somebody that you can build with. Somebody that's ambitious, somebody that's trying to make it. Guess what? They're going to throw you under the bus the moment that they ambition and your friendship come to a certain crossroads. Y'all have experienced before, ones in the chat. If you experience somebody betraying you or discarding you like you wasn't shit when you being around didn't meet the goals or didn't justify the ends. The means didn't justify the ends, however you say that. So within the particular chart, the new moon is conjunct the Libra 4 area of the Sabian symbol. This is the inspiration of communion. This is the advantages of group endeavors that go beyond synergistic efficiency. Sometimes inspiration requires group and spiritual rapport. Sometimes inspiration requires group and spiritual rapport. What is this saying? This is saying that you can have a group, but if your group is not in the space of spiritual rapport, what is the purpose of the group? Right? Because it's one thing to be in the space of communion by yourself, But within yourself, that is not the etymology of communion. The etymology of communion is basically fellowship, sharing, participation. You can't participate by yourself. The ways for which you got by yourself is through the means of ambition. The ways you're going to unfuck yourself is that you understand that you have to learn how to work with people and have to have a certain level of discernment. They have to be willing to do the spiritual work themselves. They cannot be under the space where, you did the ritual, I'm good, I'll just get up under your ritual. No, we need to have a spiritual rapport. Union in worship or doctrine or participation in the divine. Where is the divine located? What is in the chat? Where is we going to find the divine at? Let me know where you going to find the divine at. So when you look at people and you be like, well, he got this many followers, or he got this much money, he's doing this, he's doing that. But he haven't found the divine within himself. What are we doing? And so where is this coming from? This is coming from the new moon being conjunct the fixed star Izar, where Izar is the girdle or the belt that is unifying the upper and the lower, the Mars and the Venus. It is the sacred merging of spirits and beliefs. Because it's one thing for me to understand spirits in my life. It's a whole other thing to have a community that are willing to take it slow and understand the spirits that are taking place in their own personal life. And this is the final frontier. Communion is the act of becoming one through being sacred, creating a bond that transcends individual existence. How do we apply it to the new moon? The astrological alignment, once again, let's do this. They say the new moon is in Libra. Libra rules what? In astrology, the zodiac sign Libra is associated with partnerships, fairness, balance, and its influence can be seen in marriage. To have a successful marriage, a Libra partner values harmony, appreciation, but may struggle with indecisiveness and conflict avoidance, which can be overcome by a clear-minded partner and open communication about core values and life goals. In a simple way of saying this, we have to do the real work if we want to foster true connection. Gone are the days where you can say, oh, this girl look good, I want to marry her. Oh, he's so sexy, he gonna be my forever. No. So to just simplify this, communion is the participation in something that which is common to all. So there are many things that are common to all. There are herbs, there is water, there is food, feasting. You can commune in so many different ways. But one of the sincere ways that a partner, marriage, friend group, people that you're working with, a good way is getting together and doing mushrooms. See, the psychedelics is either going to bring y'all together, or you going to realize that this motherfucker got some demons on him and they ain't somebody that you should be dealing with. This is a telltale sign, because it's a certain point during the psychedelic journey where you take them and you at peace, you in love with life, and you don't get there without taking them and feeling a little bit uncomfortable, because those demons and negative spirits attached to you, right? So if you want any information on psychedelics, any type of worksheets, web blog pages, information, knowledge, any personal questions, you can DM me, ask me any type of questions, but understand communion, right? Communion in a Christian church is through the modality of a sacrament. And I just want to ask y'all something. Do y'all think that buying 100 pre-filled communion cups and crackers for $26.99 off of Amazon is how you're going to contact God? Or are you going to get you some Shalom, sweet Concord wine made and bottled where the grapes grow, right? Got the Hebrews kosher symbol on here with some psychedelic mushrooms. You don't think that's the way to get closer to God than some damn pre-filled communion cups? Listen, pre-filled communion cups for the congregation is nasty work. And if you think that's how God wanted it to be, then you got another thing coming. What's common to all, without mixing words, is the psychedelic mushroom. See, the psychedelic mushroom grows out of the ground freely with no seeds. And that is very common. And that is the way, this is the root of all religious worship. We are so far from it. The fact that I'm bringing it to the surface, it sounds weird, but that's okay. Those who have ears can hear what I'm saying, and those who have eyes can see what I'm saying, right? So, ritual and practice leading up to this new moon. So, as we have been exploring the profound meanings of communion and wisdom of Libra and the associations with Icarus, Cain, technology, things of that nature, ambition, hopefully all of these things are bringing you closer to yourself and also having you realizing where you are selfish, where you are ambitious at, and where you are not allowing space for God to show up in your life. In reference to this new moon, though, light a flame or light a candle and invite it to symbolize the shared fire of consciousness, the divine spark within you that connects to all beings and illuminates your personal path forward. You know, get into roll opener rituals for this new moon. Meaning that I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, Hood. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but you can trust in the God within to show you through a proper roll opener ritual. Quiet communion. Sit in a quiet meditation, either alone or with people that you trust. Maybe it's people that you don't trust. You got some mushrooms up in the cabinet, crack them open, give each person a piece. Y'all drink some tea and just sit in meditation and quiet conversation. Understand that it's a reason. If somebody is in your life right now, it's a divine reason for them being in your life. Appreciate the reason why they're in your life right now, right? And live out that appreciation, because you have more power in this game than they're willing to tell you. Right? Your ability to meditate, your ability to connect with people spiritually, right? You can make mountains move. In the modes that's keeping you alone, keeping you ambitious, keeping you focused on money and things of that nature, is keeping you away from God showing up in your life because you isolated. You're alone and you just trying to figure it out for yourself. So, what are some journal prompts for reflection? What is the line personally for you between selfishness and reflection? Like, make sure that you understand the difference between being selfish and reflecting, because those two things can look the same, right? Being at home, cutting your phone off, watching Netflix, pulling out the Rose toy, that's some selfish shit. You know somebody would be enjoying that yoni right now. But why can't they enjoy that yoni? Because you addicted to the Rose toy. You addicted to the magic wand. You got to reflect on things of this nature, because in reference to your marriage, your addiction to sex toys, right now you get a natural, and you like, well, is this the fastest setting? Nigga, you don't got a vibration mode. You might have to take a 3-month fast from the sex toys to get some of the nerve endings to restore. So when you deal with a normal guy, he'll be able to satisfy you. Once again, I say to the ancestors, those known and unknown, light a candle for every ancestor that you can name. Light a big candle for those ancestors that you don't know. This is a portal. This is an opening. Over these next couple of days, you're going to see the veil thin more and more and more and more up until November 1st, where we have the Day of the Dead and the veil completely opens. So just to prepare you for that, shit is about to get weird. And another journal prompt for this new moon, I would say, what are my intentions for the rest of the year? What do I plan to manifest for the rest of the year? If you don't set your intentions, someone else will, and you will not like it. Do you want to get married? Do you want a long-term relationship? Do you want to get a new home? What do you want? Sit and journal it. Not necessarily want. Let me be clear. What do you intend for yourself? Right? Be clear on this, okay? Because if you don't set your intention, someone else will. And 10 times out of 10, you will not like it. And as I stated earlier, I started this transmission off like that, and I'm also going to end the transmission like that. So please light a candle for those that you love, Jupiter and Cancer, and know that your life is transforming. Know that you are in the process, the chrysalis process of a butterfly. You went into this thing a caterpillar, you're going to come out like a butterfly, but that intermediate process, right, is a tough process. But there's going to be friends, family, lovers, community, joy, celebrations, happiness is going to be in every home. You wish this for your brother the same way as you wish this for yourself. You wish this for your sister in the same way you wish it for yourself. I tell this to people all the time. It was a point in time in my spiritual development when I was at my lowest, and I couldn't even wish good for myself. But I started to wish good for my cousins. I started to wish good for my family, and I started to see things change for them, right? And when things started to change for them, it wasn't like things changed for me, but ultimately, the power is usually in your ability to help others. And in this ability for you to help others, you will get to see your power manifest. And hopefully, you will start using your power and psychic abilities to help yourself. Libra is in my first house. So the mode of doing psychic readings and astrology readings is something that I used to do basically every single day. And I was so energetically drained, so spiritually drained, to the point that spirit had to tell me, all of the ways that you show up for other people, try showing up for yourself in that way. And with that, I was like, man, I don't give a fuck no more. Like I like doing readings, but I don't care if I do them or not, because my psychic energy is used for me. And I love that for me. I love the feeling of helping myself, and not in an egotistical way, but in a way where it's just like I'm not trying to show up for other people. I'm trying to show up for myself. And when I show up for myself, I'm able to show up for y'all much better, much clearer, with much more better energy. So, with all of this being said, show up for yourself, but also understand that you're not alone in this thing. And you want to be a part of the group, but you also want to be a part of the group as the best version of yourself. Because ultimately, if you're not the best version of yourself, you want other people to be at the best version of their self so they can lift you up and vice versa. That's the way that we're going to do this thing. So, peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. I hope you were able to gain something from this transmission. And and as these things play out in the future, I'll be sure to highlight the things that we discussed in this video because we did discuss a lot. But I felt as though a lot of the information was pertinent. As you know, I'm not able to do videos as much as I would like to because, bills need to be paid. But with all of that being said, if you could spare or share anything, please hit up my Cash App, $ Hood Mystic 38. Anything would be appreciated because I do these videos out the love of the collective. I do these videos for people who need this information so they can take care of their families, show up for others, attract and manifest at the highest frequency in truth, in understanding, in wisdom. But with all of that being said, I hope y'all were able to take something from this video that you can move forward with. And with all of that being said, I will catch you all on the flip side. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. I'm Hood, signing out. Peace.